What's happening, guys? Martin Martinez back again. Quick video for you, long time no see, just to talk about fragrance reformulation and my issues with fragrances in general. Not to bash it too much, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Now, there's 3 fragrances I'm going to mention, and again, this is nothing new, but as we get the new release of Dior Homme Parfum, we're seeing again a lot of hype going on. A lot of people are saying, hey, what's going on? This isn't the fragrance I signed up for. What is this about? It was already expensive in the first place, and now we find ourselves with some little bit of controversy seems to be going on. So this history of reformulation, the origins of reformulation, from what I understand, there's a lot of it seems to do sometimes with sourcing of materials and the sustainability of the fragrance itself. It may not be as sustainable in the long term to continue to make a fragrance, or let's say financially, the cost and supply of the particular ingredients just don't measure up to what the actual end goal is or the end product is in respect of profitability, and therefore companies make the decision to cut costs. What also happens as well is you'll find that a company will be bought over by another company. So Tom Ford, for example, was bought over by Estee Lauder fully. So it's not even Tom Ford anymore. Him as a person, I believe his sort of like rise was back in the day, let's say in the 90s, upwards in 2000s, everything else like that. Whereas now, Tom Ford as a name, you know, newer generations coming into fragrances, they may know it as a name, but there's no, I don't think there's necessarily any character to it in the same way as it once was. However, nonetheless, you know, we still get fragrances from Tom Ford. However, does it still have the same appeal? Not to me, not in the same sense. I won't be looking for any new Tom Ford fragrances when they come out, unless it's such a super banger. However, I digress. Now, let's talk about reformulation. This one, let's start the ball rolling off with Creed Aventus. Putting this up in the video so you can see. Creed Aventus was like the holy grail of fragrances when it came out. This one seemed to be the pineapple burst, juicy. You had a lot of things going on in there. You know, it was one of those fragrances, for the time at least, it stood out. When I was growing up, it seemed like something like that was just so expensive. £170 I remember being for this like 50ml bottle, and if you wanted something more, you're talking like nearly £200. Now for someone when you're like, you know, in your mid-20s and so forth, for me I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. I'm paying all that money for this thing. However, when you sprayed it, you start to understand why, as a niche fragrance at the time from Creed, why this fragrance had so much sort of power in respect of what it was able to do. You know, you could spray, you didn't necessarily have to go heavy on the trigger. You could spray 1 or 2 sprays, let's say 3 to 4 sprays, and that was enough. You were good. If you sprayed it and close it as well, that's it all day. You're finished. You're ready to go. Fresh, smelling good, smelling unique at the time, before all these obviously clones and everything were so widely available. And this fragrance used to have that level of magnetism for the ladies. People, when they smell it, it was like, yeah, money I'm smelling there. This thing smells good. Now, let's look at ChatGPT as to why this fragrance was reformulated. Originally launched in 2010, and it's saying that the reason for reformulation was changes in natural ingredients, sourcing, and batch variations. Impact, again, some batches are said to be lack the smoky pineapple notes of earlier versions, creating ongoing discussions among fragrance enthusiasts. Now, that's all well and good, but what seemed to happen from my perspective, I don't even know who owns Creed anymore, but the original Creed brand was originally a family-owned brand, and then it became sold, and at the end of the day now, the newcomers come in, I don't even know who it was, and they just decided, let's go and take over. Let's see who it was now who owns Creed. Kering now owns Creed, currently. So again, it was purchased in 2020. So, and again, at a price of 3.5 billion. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean anything to the man in the street. However, nonetheless, the fragrance itself, to me, is just no longer relevant. There's just no point in buying it. We've got Mont Blanc Explorer, which again is pretty much a fraction of the price. Let's say even a third of the price, if not even a quarter of the price. And at the same time, for the fragrance difference, it's really not making much difference anymore, because the original Creed was reformulated. Let's go on to another example. For some reason, again, I don't know what's going on in this house of Dior. Let's not even get to the Parfum just yet. Let's just stick with this particular one. Dior Homme Intense. Now, to me, the original one, that iris, that lipstick, that fashion element, it felt to me. Fashionista type of fragrance. Someone decided along the way, oh, let's just make a new type of fragrance now. I'm gonna go, maybe I'm just gonna rely on the Dior name for some reason. I'm just gonna make a completely fragrance where we take away some of the key components that the people liked, and let's give them something else. Let's try and appeal to a new market. Let's not be too abrasive in the type of fragrance that we have, and let's keep it so it's basically just pleasant and understandable. Now Dior, in a sense, obviously they recaptured a lot of people with Dior Sauvage when it came out, but Dior Homme Intense, wow, nothing like the original. Iris seemed to have gone. That lipstick vibe, patchouli, whatever was going on, seemed to have disappeared, and we find ourselves with this. And now we find ourselves again with this same thing again in respect of Dior Homme. Dior Homme Parfum coming in at 150, let's have a quick look, £103 for a 50ml bottle. £103, saying it's got ambery woods and floral notes. I've not even had a chance to smell this, and already fragrance reviews are saying it's totally not even what it was. Again, the original Dior Homme Parfum that I smelled originally when I had it, I've done a review on that one actually, was quite heavy. You could only wear it probably in the winter because it was that heavy. To some extent, it was a little bit overbearing if you oversprayed, so you have to be careful. This new one, until I can get my nose on it, I just don't know. But guys are saying, people are saying online that this is just totally not it. Total reformulation. Again, what is the point of reformulations? If you know people are enjoying the fragrance, why just not have an additional flanker to the original? Why bring out a reformulation and pretty much take out the old fragrance? Why would you kill off the old fragrance or put a new one out there and just get rid of the old one, putting a reformulation in its place, and just think that people accept it, and people in their memories will just forget what the original fragrance was? It doesn't make sense. Or does it? Do these companies have a reason? I've not smelled this one yet, guys, but you leave your thoughts down below. This is my initial thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video if we get into fragrances again. Peace.